Hi everyone, in this lesson we will focus on storytelling from an empty graph, meaning a graph with no labels on the side. So the number of cars in the school's parking lot changes as time passes during a typical school day. Graph 1 and Graph 2 show two possibilities for the way the number of parked cars might change over time. A. Describe the story each graph tells about a school parking lot. B. Which graph shows the pattern you expect. C. How would you label the graph you chose so that someone else would know what it represents? Here are the two graphs, Graph 1 and Graph 2. Let's begin with Graph 1. As you can see, there's a few cars coming into the parking lot at the beginning of the school day, and then there's no change, which means it stays constant for a period of time. Then in the middle of the day, there's a sharp increase in the amount of cars in the school parking lot, and then followed by a sharp decrease at the same time. The cars stay constant for a good period of time, and then those cars start leaving the parking lot, resulting in an empty parking lot. So that is Graph 1. Now Graph 2. There's a steady increase in the number of cars earlier in the day. Then the number of cars level off and stay constant for the most part of the day. Then there's a steady decrease in the number of cars until the parking lot is empty. So here's Graph 2. Now comparing these two graphs, Graph 1 with a sharp increase in the middle of the day followed by a sharp decrease, versus a steady increase and then no changes until the end of the day for Graph 2. As you can tell, Graph 2 is more typical for a school day where things should not be changing while all the cars are parked in the morning, because teachers are unlikely to leave the school in the middle of the day. So since this is the graph that we think makes more sense, we would label the bottom as the time and the side as the number of cars in the parking lot. Now let's check out some examples to see if this makes sense to you. Question A says the daily sales decline at a steady rate. The word steady rate is really important, which will refer to Graph 2. B. The daily sales did not change. Now when something did not change, the line will be going across, which will be Graph 5 as you can tell. C. The daily sales rose rapidly, then level off, and then decline rapidly. The level off only shows on Graph 1, so the answer will be Graph 1. D. The daily sale rose at a steady rate. This is just the opposite of A, so it will be Graph 4. And E. The daily sales dropped rapidly at first, then at a slower pace. And as you can see, this is the graph that slows down at the bottom, so the answer will be Graph 3. Okay, that's it for the lesson.